It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Sorry, I ran into that. I've been practicing really hard, going slow.
Nope. Good luck.
Thanks.
It's too funny because I was a little bit like, why is she talking so slowly?
Oh yeah, because I rammed into it and I was like, wait, slow down, let's slow down. So it's almost like if you know about tapes, they get worn out after a while. It's like, oh, yeah. If not, just pretend it's something else.
Well, there you go. It's like when your internet is acting weird and you're watching, you're streaming a show. How about that?
And it buffers. Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Buffering. See?
Yeah.
We got a modern analogy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not quite the same, but yes. It'll never, kids these days will never know.
So true.
Because like once it's ruined, it's ruined. You can't just go find it on the internet. Or you
I think I still have some of my old cassettes. I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of them.
I think I have a couple, and it's like of me recording myself talking. Because I did that as a young age, so it makes sense that I do that. I podcast.
Well, there you go. Some of the OG podcasts by Heather.
Yeah, well, I did commercials actually, and it was specifically one on alligator soap. So there you are.
Alligator soap?
Mm-hmm.
What's alligator soap?
I made it up.
Oh,
duh. Yeah.
Alrighty then.
If I can find it, I think I might have taped over it at some point. But if I find it, I'll play it. I'll record it.
Yeah, my sister and I we used to do a pretend radio show, and it was WPU. Pew.
You're so funny.
I know.
So how's life treating you? We had spring break.
Yeah, well, spring break doesn't really mean anything to me since I don't have a little kid anymore. But
yeah, but you still need it. We still took a spring break.
Well, yes, the podcast took a spring break. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, I mean, life was pretty much normal. Did I tell you? I can't remember if we talked last time. Found an apartment for Luke, or a duplex, basically. So yeah, so we're preparing to move him into that at the end of the month.
Nice.
And he's super excited about that. And that's about all. We had, Springtime Tallahassee. Unfortunately, we're part of this, Springtime Tallahassee, where we help put on a festival and a parade and everything the organization does. And it rained on our parade. We did not have the parade, unfortunately. Which really
after all that preparation and everything.
Oh, and we were out there on the street with our float that we had built, with our costumes on, glitter everywhere. Yeah, sadly, they couldn't. They tried to, hold on and wait and see if the rain would pass, but it wasn't going to. So that was a huge bummer. But and plus too, this was the first year after COVID that we were going to be able to have the parade. So everybody was super excited,
Maybe it's a sign that you should revamp it. Maybe, I don't know.
Like
I don't know
what?
how you would I don't know. I'm just saying maybe you should revamp it. Maybe you could do it indoor at the stadium and go through the tunnel.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Or the inside, the inside like ramps.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever.
So yeah, that was it. And then the FSU spring game is coming up this weekend. So we got a lot going on, and we're wrapping up our taxes. So hopefully we'll actually turn them in on time this year. And I better not owe any money because I made crap last year.
Yeah.
So I should not owe any money. Cross our fingers for that.
We actually got money back, but that's after the tax credit, the child tax credit, because we opted out for the rest of the year. So that's the only reason we would have gotten money. But I'm like, we claim zero. How do we owe money?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
we
know.
both claim zero. And I think like just zero. I don't know what the difference is. Like if you can claim married, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since I filled out paperwork, but yeah, I claim zero. So like, how do I owe money?
Yeah. I don't know. There's like no rhyme or reason to me.
Because if I claim one, I should be able to, that's my child. So anyways, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll never understand it, but I think, gosh, I remember it's been a while since I saw it, but Elizabeth Warren had sent out maybe an email, and that's how I knew about it. She was introducing some bill that she wanted to get put in place where it would essentially eliminate like 20 hours of like streamlined taxes for people, because in the email, it's like individuals spend up to 20 hours just doing their taxes. And it's like, that's insane. Like we shouldn't have to have like, as an individual, we shouldn't have to have tax professionals having to do our taxes, because it should be freaking easy. But instead it's like, oh, well, we have this, but we have that, but we have this, but we have that, and you have this, you have that exemption.
And then the laws change too. Like 1 year it's you get this deducted, and the next year you can't. And yeah, it's very confusing. It's awful. Well, and since I work for myself mainly, it's just, it's a pain.
And I get like, into people that work for themselves, like I'm gonna have to do that next year. And then so when you work for yourself, or you are a corporation or a business, I get that, because there are so many intricacies. But like as an individual here, like it should be really simple.
Yeah, one would think.
But it's not. Anyway, so I don't know where that went. So I just know I received something, but I was like, I support this.
Yeah, definitely. So, but how have you been doing? I know it's been a little bit of a rough month or so.
Yeah, man. Anxiety levels super high right now. Just working on virtual events that are just, it's all me. It's all me that's the anxiety, but I'm just a highly anxious person, and it, I make one mistake and then it just wheels off. Then it's just like, oh my gosh, everything, like, I have to go check this, I have to go check. And it's just, it's just highly anxious. So I am like in a heightened state, working with my therapist, trying to figure out what to do. So
yeah, therapy is good.
Yeah. And I'm gonna start getting sad. Sorry. Brad's dad passed away recently. And God, it's just brought up a lot with my dad, right?
Yeah.
Because we lost both of our dads within a year. And we knew it was coming with his dad.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a shock, but we also, like, I wasn't prepared for it. I don't know how his family feels, but it's just like, he was doing so good and then he wasn't. And it was like within 2 weeks. Like he was.
Do you mind if I ask, do you mind saying, how he passed?
Yeah. Pancreatic cancer is what he had.
Yeah.
So, but he was, going around and eating and, doing all these things. And then within 2 weeks,
Wow.
he just took a turn. And so, and I was thinking just before this, like, because the doctor said it's 6 months when we were first told, at least that's what I remember. It, could be something different, because it was a lot going on during that time. We had the flood and holidays.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I was thinking, I was like, dang, he might go longer. And wouldn't that be amazing? And, it's just like, because he was doing so well. But it was a different experience from my perspective, just going through it with my dad, just all around, they had some similarities. They both were one of 6 children. But my dad's family like streamlined their kids. So like some had 0, some had, the most one person had was 4. And Brad's family, for the most part, were his dad's siblings, they were like 3 and more.
Wow.
So they have a much bigger family. But with my dad's family, it was just like, we just didn't, once my grandparents passed, we just didn't keep in touch as much. And it was just a different dynamic. Brad's family, I met like a bazillion of them over the last weekend, and they're so lovely. These people are just like, just from farms and rural areas, and but you know what, I wasn't introduced to one person, I don't think. And it's just so funny, because it wasn't even like I introduced myself. I was like, oh hi, I'm Heather. But it was just like I was part of the family. And so
Yeah.
it was just, it was a cool dynamic. Not saying like, oh, like, no, nobody introduced himself. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
It
Well, yeah, it was
genuinely,
just kind of assumed. Of course, you're Heather. Why do you,
yeah, this
no
much. Okay.
introduction needed.
Yeah. I was a lot of people questioned my sanity with procreating with Brad.
Uh,
Uh,
Brad is rad. Come on now.
he was evidently a big troublemaker, not malicious, but like
Oh.
just got into a lot of situations that he
Well,
probably should not have
just
gotten
like
into.
you.
Yeah. No,
I wonder why Baker is bananas.
it's different. No, Baker's, man, oof, he's evidently not as bad as Brad, but like by now Brad had so, I don't know, he'd done like died himself, and I think taken some pills that he wasn't supposed to.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff. So Baker's pretty tame compared to that, but he has
Well, and
my,
by the way, I say that with all the love in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not meaning to,
yeah, no, but he's like me with like and I'm sure there's a lot of toddler behavior too, but he's like, no. I'm like, and he'll go blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so I see that a lot of me. But anyways, oh gosh, I have to tell you a funny story that happened, but it was just neat to see everybody rallying and joining together and focusing on what mattered most, which was his dad.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't the case with my dad.
Yeah.
And so it was just such a different experience. It was just not as stressful, and we could really celebrate him. So that was important, and it was great to see that the families are functional. And
it does exist.
Yeah, but it was just so nice to see. And I hadn't had bad experiences before, but I haven't been in the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
It's always been a grandparent, and I wasn't involved in any of the matters, so it didn't affect me. So I never saw it before. Whether that happened, I don't know. So it was just great to see that this family, as big as it is, really rallied and was like, we're here. I mean, like, so many people were at the house and like coming through and bringing things for the family, for food, and it was just great. It was great.
Oh,
as terrible of a situation as it is,
yeah,
you could just feel the love, and just, it's great.
Yeah.
Well,
how is Brad doing?
He's quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's really hit him yet. And I don't know. So yeah, I just don't know that it's hit him yet, but he's not a talker either. So, and we haven't really had any downtime since we've gotten back, because we got back late Sunday. It's Wednesday. My anxiety's been through the roof, so I haven't been the best spouse to check in with him, and so that's how we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and Baker, do you think that he knew what was going on? I mean, how aware was he, about what had happened with his grandfather and everything?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of loss, right? We lost Maxie, we lost my dad, we lost Brad's dad. So it's not new. Loss isn't new to him. And we have really tried to frame it and make it, because we had somebody on, right? I think we had somebody on, or we talked about it in the Facebook page. I can't remember, but people were just like, just normalize it, normalize what is going on. Like, death is part of life. And so before we went down to visit him, so we got there the day before he passed away. So he was able to see Baker, and he was coherent and, cracked a joke. And so, so before we went there, I was like, how Pops was really sick. I was like, Granddad is really sick too. And, we're going to go visit him. And, that was kind of how I put it. And then after he passed, and I told him, because we didn't have a funeral for my father. So we had like a little celebration, drinks, whatever. So it wasn't really a formal, like, go to a funeral home and whatever. So I told him, I was like, hey, so granddad passed and he is now in heaven, with Pops and Maxie. And I was like, and we're going to go to an event today, and it is to celebrate granddad. And, people are going to cry. And I was like, they're sad because they miss him because he's in heaven. But that's normal and that's okay. And you can be sad, and it's just because we miss him. And it's like, but we're gonna celebrate him. So but I was like, and he was kind of sad. You could see that he kind of turned a little down. But I was like, but he's okay. And so we went to the funeral and he seemed to be okay. And then we went to a restaurant and had some food and drinks and hung out with the gigantic family. There's like 40 people. I'm not even kidding. But it was great. It was a great time, and everybody just mixed well, and they were great. So I think he did okay. No, good.
No, that's good. I mean, it's sad that, for just a little guy, he's experienced a good amount of loss already.
Yeah.
But
what happens
like
when your
said,
parents are old?
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying
Meaning
to
Brad
remember
and me,
now.
not our parents.
But I think we might have had somebody on, the therapist of some sort, where we talked about loss and kids, but yeah, normalizing it like that, I think that's just the best way to do it and talk about it openly.
Yeah. And we have to do a really good job of keeping their names. Like, we try to say, oh, well, Pops did this or Granddad did this or what have you. So we're really trying to be aware of keeping their memories alive and part of our conversations.
Yeah.
And so every now and again he'll like say, I miss Pops or I miss Mexie. And so yeah, I'm sure he'll say he misses Granddad at some point too. So it's just fresh.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you've noticed that people don't really say funeral anymore. They've just started calling it celebration of life. At least that's in my little world. Then sadly, the amount of funerals or celebrations of life I've had to go to the last few years, that's what people are calling it, at least around here anyway. That's what I've noticed. I
don't know. Like, I don't know. I think it was, I don't even think we called it anything. We're going to have they didn't call it I don't feel like anybody called it a funeral. I don't think we're going to have, God, I'm trying to think of the word, but I don't think it was a celebration. I don't think it was a funeral. It was a memorial, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. It was something that wasn't, it was just like an event. We're going to have a thing, maybe. It was just very, it wasn't, it wasn't specified a funeral. I think we're turning a negative into a positive. Sorry, I'm wiping my nose as I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm not like, I think we're turning a negative to a positive, right? Because loss is it's a loss, but turning it from a loss to a celebration, I think it's healthy. I think it's more healthy.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah, I was just, it's something that I've noticed here recently. And I was wondering if you've noticed that too.
Do you think it's because our mental health, we're trying to be more proactive?
We're so fragile.
Yeah. Well, but we're trying to be more proactive and like say like, we, because it's, so-and-so wouldn't have wanted us to sit around and cry and be sad. They would have wanted us to celebrate, blah, 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 So I think that is kind of part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. So it was just interesting observation I've made, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna end on a high note, funny note. So we were what a jerk. So we were at dinner and Brad didn't bring a jacket for Baker, and somebody was like, Baker, where's your jacket? And Brad was like, you're stupid, yes, daddy. So we say yes instead of ASS. Your stupid yes, daddy left it in the car. And so he said, my stupid yes, daddy, left it in the car, like copying after him. And later that night, he was putting on his pajamas and was mad at me because I'm sure it was like, I gave him warnings and then he didn't listen. So I was like, all right, you're only reading one chapter. And he, under his breath, and this is me, my stupid yes, mommy. I was like, no. I'm like, you don't say, I was like, I know you think that's funny because daddy said it, but I was like, you don't say that about anybody. You don't say that to anybody. I was like, we just don't do that. Okay. So
Stupid yes, mommy.
I mean, just under his breath, just as spiteful as can be. I was like, you
stinker.
Yeah.
Aww.
So I was just like, you can't do that. It's not okay. So
yeah. Well, hey, we should talk about our merch too. Remind people that
we have a lot of
now.
stuff going on, right? So it's springtime. Yes. We have the ultimate cleaning cloths, which are amazing. I was just cleaned my house yesterday with it, like bathrooms, countertops. Bathrooms and countertops.
Yeah. Stainless steel, really good on stainless steel. Yes.
And it's amazing.
My refrigerator.
No, all you need is water. All you need is water, and you can hand wash it with soap to get all the germs off of it for use later.
You can put it in the washing machine too.
Yes, and I think you can bleach it as well. I haven't gotten mine that dirty. And then we have merch, so t-shirt, sweatshirt, coffee mugs. I actually got an email from them yesterday, and I was like, I need to go and order now that I'm home. So. Yeah. So we're going to
magnets like for your car or for your fridge.
Tote bags, tank tops,
phone cases.
Phone cases.
Yeah. Stickers, all kinds of good stuff. So we'll post the link to it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
I
can't mom today merch.
I know. It's mine. Actually, I took mine with me to Oklahoma. So it was in the airports and it was great. I was like, okay, I can't mom today, but like my child's being like this little angel. I mean, he was doing so good that I thought I left something or him because I was like, this isn't right. He's usually bananas. Like he's doing so good. And then we got to Oklahoma and like wheels came off, like unlocking the bathroom door when we're in it. And I'm, in the middle of peeing, like touching I'm just like, rah! I'm like, stop it. And I'm like, okay, now like people are like, oh my God. So there's this mom, she was wearing that. I came out today. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking. But I was like, you know what? This is normal for travel frustrations with kids. So
exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was like, take your kid. I mean, he was so good and lost his mind. So, but 95% good. I can't complain. I mean, I can in the moment be frustrated, but
exactly.
Yeah.
So and don't forget to look us up on Instagram, I Can't Mom Today podcast, as well as Twitter. And we've got a Facebook group, which is private. So you can air your frustrations. There's only, I think we got about 500 members on that group.
Yeah.
And then we have a page as well. So, and you can email us, I Can't Mom Today podcast @gmail.
And for the right price, I will give you Vera's direct flat in front of her.
Funny.
Just kidding. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.